Hello and welcome. I'm Asuma Katauka and you're watching the China Report on News 6 World. Let's take a look at the top headlines of this hour. Starting today, German Foreign Minister John Wadefull will travel to Beijing as Berlin hardens its China policy, seeking fair trade practices in supply chain security while aligning with a tougher EU stance. The trip includes high-level talks in Beijing and Guangzhou and aims to set the stage for the German Chancellor's visit next year. China's Coast Guard has conducted its first ever search and rescue drill in the Taiwan Strait. Focusing on the Taiwan Shoal, the Fujian Maritime Safety Administration led the large-scale exercise as Beijing expands its operational presence in this highly sensitive waterway. China's Liaoning aircraft carrier has conducted around 100 aircraft takeoffs and landings near Japan as it sailed east of the Okinawa Islands, triggering sharp protests from Tokyo as for now Japan has summoned Chinese Ambassador Wu Jianhao and vowed to respond calmly but firmly. Meanwhile, Australia has expressed deep concern as the clash marks one of the most serious China-Japan military confrontations in years, as Japan has claimed that China's fighter jets aimed radar at Japanese aircraft in two dangerous incidents near the Okinawa Islands, while Beijing has declined such accusations. Hong Kong's election saw near record low turnout of 31.9% amid public fury over a blaze that has killed at least 159 people. The turnout only barely exceeded the previous election as anger towards China-backed authorities have intensified. China has begun testing unmanned trucks at lead zinc mine in disputed Uyghur province Xinjiang's mountains, operating at a record-breaking 5,600 meters, surpassing the altitude of the world's highest human settlement in Peru. This project marks a major technological push as Beijing builds the world's highest fully unmanned mine. Chinese local carrier Guizhou Airlines has launched a direct route linking Guiyang, capital of southwest China's Guizhou province, to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, further expanding China's air links with fast-growing ASEAN markets amid rising regional travel and trade. Thailand launched airstrikes on Cambodian military facilities after both sides accused each other of violating a Trump-brokered ceasefire, with one Thai soldier killed and four wounded amid heavy border clashes, as Bangkok says 385,000 civilians are being evacuated, while Cambodia denies retaliation. Now, tensions are rising between China and Japan after a Chinese carrier strike group carried out intense air operations near Japan over the weekend. Japan says China's Liaoning carrier launched around 100 aircraft takeoffs and landings as it moved past the Okinawa Island chain and into the Pacific. Tokyo has protested sharply, accusing Chinese fighter jets of aiming radar at Japanese aircraft sent to monitor the carrier, a move Japan calls dangerous and unacceptable. However, China denies the charge and says Japanese planes were the ones creating a safety risk. Japan's government says it will respond calmly but firmly as it keeps a close watch on Chinese military movements. The dispute follows Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's earlier warnings that Japan could act if Taiwan crisis threatens its security. These comments that led China to halt a planned restart of Japanese seafood imports and warn its citizens against traveling to Japan. Now, for this discussion, we welcome Dr. Satoru Nagao. He's a fellow at Hudson Institute, joins us live from Tokyo. Thank you very much, Dr. Satoru, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, looking at this, it's been over more than 3 weeks now of this tit-for-tat escalations from Japan and China. What are we to make of these latest escalation?
China is testing PM Takaichi's capability, so now this is military pressure. Interesting thing is the route of China's aircraft carrier. They cross the southwestern island of Japan, and generally they go east or west. East is the main Pacific area, and west is the South China Sea. But this time they go north. So north is the mainland of Japan is lining up, and if they continue to go this route, they will approach the second largest city, Osaka, and the capital, Tokyo. So that's why Japan's military capability, anytime Japan can sink these aircraft carrier, but at the same time, in the peacetime, it is impossible. And this route of the China's aircraft carrier, which approach to the second largest city, Osaka, or capital, Tokyo, is very provocative. And even if they will not come to the Osaka or Tokyo, still this route is provocative because it looks like circling the Okinawa main island. So recently, China stepped up their claim to not only Taiwan, but also the Okinawa, because China ignoring the historical background or opinion of the people in Okinawa and try to claim the Okinawa, it looks like China's territory. So that's why this is very provocative if China's aircraft carrier try to circling Okinawa. So that's why this route itself has a political message to make pressure towards the Prime Minister Takaichi, and this is a dangerous move and irresponsible move, I think.
Yes, indeed. And if I remember correctly, one of the biggest bases of US is in Okinawa. Do you think US will be alert about this?
Of course, the US and Japan both are alerting. And in this aircraft carrier, viewed from the capability, they can carry the 30 fighter jet, something like that, such kind of numbers they can operate. But at the same time, viewed from the number of the Japan's fighter jet or US fighter jet, it is easy to sink it. But at the same time, it is true that this route China's aircraft carrier battle group is running is very provocative. So that's why this challenging attitude is not constructive for the relation between Japan and China and the US and China also. So this is a irresponsible move, I think.
Yes, and lastly, Dr. Sato, how do you think Japan should retaliate to this?
Japan will not retaliate, I think, because since PM Takaichi explained Taiwan crisis is Japan's crisis very honestly, Japan's side hasn't committed any provocative move against China. Only China escalates the situation. So that's why Japan will continue this attitude, I think. Japan will not back down, but at the same time, Japan is a responsible country which do not commit the escalation. So only China escalates the situation. That is the situation world will understand because Japan hasn't committed any provocative move against China.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Satoru, for highlighting that and sharing that insight with us from Tokyo. Now we move on to our next news. The United States is signaling a steady approach on the Taiwan issue. Speaking at a forum hosted by the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation in California, U.S. War Secretary Pete Hegseth has said that Washington has no intentions of changing the status quo. He has stressed that America's interests in the Indo-Pacific are significant but reasonable and centered on working with allies to balance China's growing power. Hegseth said that the goal is simple: ensure no U.S. ally becomes vulnerable to sustained military aggression. He has described this as deterrence, not an effort to dominate China, but to prevent Beijing from dominating the U.S. or its partners, has called the approach common sense. Now for this discussion, we welcome Mr. Andrew K.P. Long. He's an independent Chinese strategist, joins us live from Hong Kong. Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, how is China seeing these comments come in from U.S. at this time?
This comment or statement comes along with the latest release of the United States National Defense Strategy. The latest National Defense Strategy looks at the whole South China Sea and the Asia Pacific, putting a great deal of emphasis on the first island chain centered in Okinawa, which of course is related to comments earlier on this panel but my fellow speaker. The importance is that if the time and situations change, then the whole geopolitical dynamics in the Asia Pacific will be tilted towards China, which is perceived as the United States' greatest existential threat to American dominance. So according to the latest national security strategy, they're putting renewed emphasis on American assets in Okinawa. Now, as far as Taiwan is concerned, it is only a reaffirmation of the long-existing American Taiwan policy, defined by the Taiwan Relations Act, which was enacted a long time ago in the United States, and the so-called three communique and the 6 assurances dating back to President Reagan's time. These documents confirm that the United States does not support any unilateral change of the status quo. Now, the wording is slightly changed from oppose the use of force to do not support the use of force. So it's a slight niche down the kind of confrontational stance. But the fact remains that the United States does not support unilateral change of the status quo. Secondly, the United States does not have any preconceived idea as to the future of Taiwan. Thirdly, the United States would not adopt the role of a negotiator or an arbitrator. Last but not least, the preference is for a peaceful evolution, and the decision of China's future must rest with the Taiwan people. So I think that this is only a reformation of all these documents under the One China policy, but on the other hand, is paying attention to the change geopolitical dynamics and the military balance of power in the Asia Pacific. So that's why with the ally, which is Japan, the United States is doubling down to confront and trying to contain the rise of China's military power in the Asia Pacific. But as far as Beijing is concerned, the preference still remains peaceful unification. As I explained on this panel many times, it is underpinned by 3 strategies. The first one is military deterrence against any unilateral declaration of independence. The second is economic and diplomatic isolation of Taiwan, as fewer and fewer countries recognize Taiwan, and Taiwan's economy still largely depends on the Chinese economy and Chinese supply the value chain. Thirdly, and this is being given increasing emphasis, is people-to-people exchanges. The 2 countries belong to the same civilization, the same language, the same culture, the same customs, and in fact the same history a long time ago. And then through tourism, the 2 peoples on both sides are increasingly visiting one another. And then as many as 300,000 Taiwanese and their families are still working on the full-time on their businesses. And what is more, many more business opportunities, many more new policies and measures are created to provide plenty of opportunities for Taiwan young people and businessmen to establish their businesses on the mainland. And you can see that even movies and commercials or serial dramas coming out of Beijing feature Taiwan actors, actresses, and directors. So I think that this momentum is being sustained. So with this strategy, there's momentum towards pushing Taiwan towards peaceful negotiation on terms even more favorable than for Macau and Hong Kong.
Great. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Andrew K.P. Long for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, moving on to Hong Kong. Hong Kong's latest legislative elections have wrapped up on Sunday, with officials reporting a voter turnout of only 31.9%. That marks a slight increase from the previous legislative poll in 2021, when turnout hit a historic low of just over 30%. According to the city's Registration and Electoral Office, roughly 1.3 million of Hong Kong's 4.1 million registered voters cast their ballots for the new slate of lawmakers. Despite the small uptick, this year's turnout still ranks as the second lowest on record, underscoring the ongoing challenges facing the city's electoral landscape. Officials released the figures early Monday, noting that all polling stations closed without major incidents as vote counting moved ahead through the night. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Andrew K.P. Long. He's an independent Chinese strategist, joins us live from Hong Kong. Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew, for staying with us. Now looking at this, what are you to make of this latest low voter turnout, and also what strategies could the government adopt to strengthen political engagement and public confidence in Hong Kong's governance and voter turnout?
Well, first of all, the turnout rate has got to be put into perspective. Well, 30% is not compared with countries. Hong Kong, of course, is not a country, but compare with other democratic countries. For example, Portugal is around 30%. So I think 30% is not exceedingly low. And also, the turnout rate, which is the percentage of the registered voters who turn out to vote, has increased by something like 1 point a few percent compared with last year. So turnout rate has improved, but of course the total number of actual voters has gone down by about 30,000, compared with a total of 1.3 million voters who actually voted. Now, this is of course a challenging time for Hong Kong, coming as it does after the major epic fire. And then there is, of course, an outpouring of solidarity amongst the Hong Kong people as money is pouring in from not only businesses, but also individuals, and also long queues of volunteers offering hands-on support, and also queues of people paying respect late into the night and signing condolence votes. So the whole city is now being united in the efforts to face this tragedy and act as a unifying force. And of course, this election also has a number of characteristics. Firstly, the older guards, people over a certain age, over 60, have all retired, leaving vacancies for younger blood. And also there are all sorts of other talent joining the Legislative Council, including international celebrities. For example, our fencing queen, who won the first with the gold medal in the Olympics in fencing. She's now making the legislature. And so I think this also comes at a time when the economy is also changing to become even more competitive, not only as a financial center, but also as a technology sector, characterized by the formation of something like the Silicon Valley of Hong Kong, in the north of Hong Kong, under the term Northern Metropolis. This northern part of Hong Kong connects that part of Hong Kong near the border of China, mainland China, with a dividing area called the Lok Ma Chau Loop, which is the area between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. And of course, Shenzhen is China's technological center with international renown. So connecting Shenzhen with the Lok Ma Chau, with the northern part of China, and then the northern part of China also attracting Hong Kong's leading universities. Don't forget Hong Kong, the single city with the largest number of world-class universities in the world top 100. In one single city, Hong Kong is 5 the universities in the top 100. No other city in the world has that position. So these universities are establishing a foothold in this northern metropolis. So there are a number of dynamics in play which inform this more dynamic Legislative Council. And of course, the turnout rate has been affected by the sadness after the epic fire, and still people are not recovering from a lot of the challenges Hong Kong facing during the past couple of years. But there are sufficient dynamics in play.
Yes.
In the long-term trajectory of Hong Kong under one country, two systems, and Beijing putting all efforts behind transformation.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Andrew K.P. Long for joining us today as an independent Chinese strategist from Hong Kong and sharing that insight. Thank you very much. Now we move on to Thailand. In the latest round of clashes between Thailand and Cambodia, Thailand has launched airstrikes along its disputed border after both countries accused each other of breaching a ceasefire agreement brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this year. The Thai military has released a statement today which says that at least one Thai soldier was killed and 7 others wounded after its troops came under Cambodian fire. These fresh clashes have reportedly taken place around 2 areas in Thailand's northeastern province of Ubon Ratchathani. The Thai army has also alleged that Cambodia used BM-21 rockets towards Thai civilian areas, though it has not mentioned any reports of casualties. In a contrary, the Cambodian defense minister has said that it was the Thai military which used the aircraft to strike its military targets at 2 locations. It has also added that the Thai army has been consistent with its provocations, but the Cambodian side has still maintained restraint and not retaliated. Now, Thailand and Cambodia share 817 kilometers long land borders, and there are multiple points along it, which the 2 countries have been contesting claim over for more than a century. Now, for this discussion, we welcome back Dr. Satoru Nagao. He's a fellow at Hudson Institute, joins us live from Tokyo. Thank you very much, Dr. Nagao, for staying with us. Now, how might this renewed border clashes affect, again, the long-term prospects for the durable ceasefire brokered by U.S. this year?
Firstly, we need to remember the important fact. The ceasefire agreement has 2 aspects. Firstly, how to reach the ceasefire agreement. But secondly, how to maintain the ceasefire agreement. So in this case, President Trump's mediation contributes how to reach the ceasefire agreement. But now this is the issue, how to maintain. And in this case, what kind of the reaction President Trump will do will be we are focusing on. And at the same time, in this case, this conflict is very important for conflict for ASEAN. because ASEAN's integrity is very important. But recently in the Myanmar, so Myanmar has already nearly left from ASEAN. Of course, they are still joining the ASEAN, but civil war has happened and the problem has happened. That is the matter. Now the Thai Cambodia start to fight ASEAN, face second crack. So that's why this kind of the crack will be the very important problem. This time, the ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia has arranged by not only the United States but also the Malaysia. Malaysia is host country of the ASEAN this year. That's why they take charge. So that's why what kind of the presence to maintain the ceasefire. So what kind of presence ASEAN can show to maintain the ceasefire is also matter. If the ASEAN cannot show enough presence, there's a possibility that such kind of the conflict will be the very shameful situation for ASEAN, and ASEAN will lose the power of influence.
Right, and what do you think ASEAN or Malaysia can do now as external mediators when both sides accuse each other of ceasefire violations and escalate with air and rocket strikes?
Unfortunately, they restart to fight, but fortunately, both Thai and Cambodia do not have the will to expand this conflict so much, I think, because there is no so big interest for both countries. And from the military power, indeed, the Thai military power is far stronger than the Cambodia. So that's why in this case, if Cambodia restricts their action and the Thai side do not have the will to expand the conflict, there's a possibility ceasefire will restart soon. So that's why in this case, ASEAN's role and President Trump's role is very important because both sides has still will to limit their military operation. In this case, there's a possibility the mediator can work effectively, and so collaboration between U.S. and Malaysia, but there's a possibility ceasefire they will restart it's possible, I think.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Dr. Satoru Nagao for joining us today from Tokyo and sharing that insight throughout our news. Thank you very much. Now we move on back to China. German Foreign Minister John Wadepool will be arriving in China today for his first state visit. The German Foreign Ministry spokesperson has said that Wadepool is set to meet his Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi, as well as the trade minister and head of the Communist Party's International Relations Department. Meanwhile, Berlin has toughened its stance on Beijing over the trade disputes and geopolitical conflicts in line with European partners. However, Wadepool's trip was postponed from October at the last minute because China had only confirmed one of his requested meetings. The Beijing talks would focus on economic relations between Europe and Asia's largest economies, as Wadepool will be visiting the southern manufacturing hub of Guangzhou. And that's a wrap on the China Report. Keep watching News 6 World for more news updates from around the world.
What we can do